Okay, so my project was done on edge effects on aviary populations. So a little bit of information on what edge effects are. We've gone over this in class, but edge effects are shifts in populations or community structures that occur at the border of two or more habitats. So what could some examples of this be? Perimeters of bodies of water like rivers or lakes and streams, where forests meet industrial areas, or where estuaries meet the ocean, so where freshwater lakes, the mouths of those, enter salt water. So a little bit of background on what I looked into. Some studies that I had found stated that bird communities in tropical forests are strongly affected by both patch area and habitat edges. Various studies have been done regarding the edge effects on aviary populations, but what I was really interested in was the edge of forests in residential areas. So studies had showed that the closer to industrial areas these habitats were, the lower the bird populations were. Humans could surely be a factor into why the populations were lower, but I wanted to see if any other factors played into that. So given the evidence that I had found from previous studies, I hypothesized that there would be a direct correlation in the bird populations. So my procedure is fairly simple, a lot like what we did in our lab earlier this semester. I selected a habitat edge to study, and I was interested in looking in forests and residential areas. I measured the edge effects, so I looked at the humidity, the temperature, the wind speed, and the light at a number of pre-selected points on a transect. At each point, I counted the bird populations for about 10 minutes after I recorded the humidity, the temperature, the wind speed, and the light. And after doing all of this and getting all my information, I added it to a spreadsheet. So just little graphical data to break it down the best way I can, because it is a lot to look at. So the blue bars are my bird counts and the red bars are the light. These two factors seem to have the closest correlation, so it ended up being what I focused on the most. And my data had showed that areas that had less light, so more canopy, held larger bird populations. My results were very straightforward. They had showed that areas with less light harbored larger bird populations. I factored that this could be because of more canopy, so this provided more nesting areas, more areas to perch for birds, and more food. On the opposite end of the spectrum, open areas containing much more light and less canopy could be open to more human disturbance, cars, homes, and much less nesting area for our birds. So why are studies like this important? So as humans are continuing to build cities and moving further into species habitats, we need to focus on what species are being negatively affected and are failing to adapt to residential areas. If we can figure out what factors are causing lower populations, it can aid in species rehabilitation.